Ant Evans did a podcast with Eric Bischoff last week, and he had some words to say about the modern TNA.
Mentioned TNA, like, so the 4 times last year, TNA was doing better on YouTube in terms of money and views. Like TNA, I love that company. I mean, what they did to my friend Scott Demore was gross. And the guy they got in charge now, Ariel Schnerer, I think is going to take them like the Titanic straight into an iceberg. But 4 times last year, TNA was ahead of AEW. That's with AEW's roster and with with 10 times as many people watching them on TV every week, that should not happen. I mean,
yeah. So Ant Evans, if you guys have watched their YouTube channel the last couple of years, it's Garrett Kidney and some other guys uploading stuff to YouTube, but the guy behind the strategy, the guy behind them actually turning their YouTube into a viable revenue stream was Ant Evans. That's what he does. That's what he's a YouTube expert. And hold on, Lucha Doncic said that sounded 10% personal. So yeah, obviously he friends with Scott Demore, so you got to take that into account. But I don't think that we can completely discredit his opinion, because he worked closely with TNA for a couple of years, and with Anthem, he was the guy that brokered the deal for Anthem to be able to buy Invicta. That was him, and Invicta has a presence on YouTube because of Ant, and so he is the reason why the YouTube is a major revenue stream. And the purpose of that podcast was to talk about AEW missing on their YouTube stream. He said that AEW is probably making $2 to $3 million a year when they should be making $8 based off of their popularity. And he said that TNA is like a seven-figure venture right now with their YouTube stream, and that it's growing exponentially. And they're actually, in a lot of cases, doing better than AEW, despite the fact that AEW has like 10 times the viewership and they're like 10 times as popular, right? So, I wanted to talk about that because I think that they could be doing even more with their YouTube. And but first, he said it straight up. This guy Ariel Schnerer, who Ant clearly worked with at Anthem, he thinks that he's gonna tank the company. And so far, not looking good. Not looking good. We'll see what Rebellion ends up looking like. We'll see what Rebellion, as far as not only ticket sales but pay-per-view buys, looks like, and we'll see about what these live events coming up end up looking like. But like, not looking good right now, right? Not looking good. But let's get back to what he's saying about the YouTube. I think it's and I actually, like, me and him had like a little bit of a back and forth on some of this stuff. I think it's time for Impact to go back to what they were doing with Twitch, right? Where they were on Access and Twitch at the same time. Okay. But I think they need to be on Access and YouTube at the same time, but on YouTube for free. I really do. I don't think that anybody's not going to not sub to their Ultimate Insider because of losing access to the show. I think, like, me personally, I'm a YouTube Ultimate Insider because for a couple of reasons. I don't like the ads, right? I don't like ads, and I can get the show ad free. I just got to wait a little bit, 30 minutes longer, and I can get the show without any commercial breaks, right? And not only that, I get the I get the monthly shows, and that's really what you're paying for. I don't think they need to have the membership tier where you only get the TV show. Just get rid of that and have the tier with the monthly show, and then give away the show for free. And then you can still have the ad-free version on their Ultimate Insider. I think that's the way to go. But then you start the show right at 8, right at the same time as Access. That way everybody's having the same conversation at the same time. And during commercial breaks that are on Access, you can just put fucking movie trailers, right? or ads for Invicta, or because and whatever ads you can find, like Blue Chew, like whatever low level stuff you can do, you just fill the commercial time with that stuff, right? I think that's the way to go, because I don't think they're going to do a good job of getting people to spend money. But you can grow the popularity of the show. Right now, I think more people would be more willing to give TNA a shot if it were free. And that like people are not going to want to pay for it, and nobody has the channel, right? Nobody has the channel. So I think they could do that. And Lucha says TNA Plus too. Yeah, they could put the same feed on TNA Plus that you would put on YouTube. Do it there, load it up with ads. But as Ant was saying, and Gerard is saying this, so now I suggest the TNA Plus. He said that they're thinking an app can do more than the number 2 streamer in the world. So it's not the number 2 streamer, it's the number 2 search engine in the world. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world, right? And they do a very good job of leveraging their YouTube popularity and turning that into a viable business. And they could be doing more. They could be doing better. I think it's been long enough time. Look, I think they had a show like a week or two ago that was in the top 50, and it was like 85,000 views, 85,000 viewers. So it was something ridiculous like that. And then Ant told me, he said, whenever TNA is not on, Access only averages about 6,000 viewers at a time for shows, right? That's ridiculous. And they're not doing anything to improve that. Now, they got bare knuckle boxing coming up, and they might get some, but bare knuckle boxing is not that popular. It's not. They're not doing like good business there. Triller TV owns that. That Triller TV is like a Ponzi scheme. It's like, so the guys that own Triller, they bought Fight, and they have all this hedge fund money coming in. Eventually, that whole thing's going to blow up. Right? And then they ended up buying BKFC, Bare Knuckle Boxing, and now they have a deal with Fight Network and with Access. And it might do some viewers, but it's not, it's not going to do anything crazy. And then earlier this week, Access, they put Carney Wilson, guys, from Wilson Phillips, who had one hit back in like 1990. Hold On with Wilson Phillips. Carney Wilson, she is the daughter of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And don't ask me how I know all this stuff. I just know, okay? And she has a show where she's going to eat food. And that's like their big thing coming up. They're also going to do like a heavy metal type show. We thought there was going to be a lot of crossover with TNA going forward. Well, they are bringing in a wrestler to do a show on Access talking about heavy metal. She just happens to be with NWA. It's the Mariah lady, Jugs O'Plenty, BQ's favorite wrestler over on NWA. She's coming over, not to TNA, but to Access. So, they didn't want to give that spot to Rosemary or somebody, or somebody on TNA. They gave it to Mariah, or what's her name? Got Maya Gomez, something. I can't remember her name, but she's on NWA. So that's what they're bringing over. So like staying on Access and then trying to charge people for your weekly TV is not going to help you grow. They got to just give it away again. And Twitch was not going to grow because nobody goes to Twitch to watch wrestling. People only ever went to Twitch to watch nerds play video games, right? Like that's what Twitch is about. And they found that out eventually, right? They could not grow their stuff on Twitch because it didn't really fit in with what Twitch is. And Twitch is nowhere near as popular as YouTube. Nothing comes close to YouTube. And so they found that out. They realized that the hired Ant bolstered their YouTube. And now it is a viable business for them. I think it's high time that they go straight to YouTube.